Hey everyone, and welcome to the Week 14 review, the Week 15, the final week preview. I am here live with Joel Gibson. We're shooting at 12:44 because all the matchups are done. What a glorious day. Of course, the time that we're both in the same spot, we could have stayed up as late as we wanted. We get to shoot it at noon, well, I guess 1. So, as always, I'm the commish. Mr. 25-0, whatever you want to say about me, Buzzsaw, like all the names, How are we doing, Joel? How are we doing?
Good, man. Where's your trophy?
Damn it, I forgot my trophy. This is normally where I spin the trophy, so just imagine me spinning it. Yeah, what a week. And we've got some interesting situations for next week.
I think you might be nervous and just kept it at home because you wanted to make sure it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm so nervous. I still haven't engraved it. That's how nervous I am. I am shaking in my boots. But look, see all these notes? I just spent like 45 minutes putting this all together. I have all the situations that you could ask for. And one thing I can take away from this, Matt's going to be pissed. All right, well, let's just get right into it here. The first matchup, the champs matchup, going for 14-0. Joel, did he get it done?
He did. He did, unfortunately.
Was it by a lot?
It wasn't double. Well, I guess it was by double digits, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was 11-2, and that free throw percentage is still up in the air. I might get that 12th category today. I have players playing. CJ doesn't. Just a great time for Hartenstein to come back. We love it, going for the first undefeated season. We'll get into that. I have so much to say. Congratulations to CJ for not winning, I guess. Just the latest victim in a very, very long line of opponents for Mr. Modest, and he's rolling.
Yeah. CJ has done a lot of work to his team this year. But it was not enough to get Brandon this second to last week of the regular season.
Yeah, look out for Krejci. That's all I'm going to say. Look out for Krejci. Look out for Big Dick Nick Richards. We've got all the ads going for Mr. Modest right now. It is coming right into form, boys. Right into form. Next matchup, probably the upset of the week. We got Matt taking on Neiman. Neiman, the biggest snafu, it may have cost him the 3 seed by not adding anybody today. I will say I was shocked that Matt didn't add today, just assuming that Neiman was going to, but it worked out for him.
Yeah.
Neiman has no one playing today, and now he's in a fight for his life, and he plays Cody next week. He's just lucky Adam plays me.
Yeah. I went to bed last night. There was, I think, 6 minutes left in the Milwaukee Bucks game. Dame did not have a triple-double. It looked like this matchup was all locked up. Matt actually put in the messenger, or maybe it was a text message, he said that this matchup was over. I think Neiman said that it wasn't over till it was over, and he was right, unfortunately for him. Good win for Matthew. That's got to be encouraging. I think
he's made some moves. I think that Matt put himself in a contender spot, not only for this year, but at least for 1 or 2 more years. We talked about it. Mm-hmm. I think that he kind of, if he's not in that upper tier, like the Modest, Cody, Doug upper tier that we think is there, he's damn close. I don't know if I want to put him like in the Neiman Adam tier if I'm tiering our competitors, but shout out to him. I mean, he gave up his future, and let's see how it goes for him.
Yeah.
And got rid of Middleton, which was dead cat.
Yeah, I mean, great move. He doesn't get this win without Curry, is what I heard you say.
Let's see here. Next one is Steven at Jake. Steven wins. This was the kind of ouch game for Cody this week. Steven winning here gives him the tiebreaker over Jake. So basically, there's no way that Steven will not be the 9. He can lose, he can win, it doesn't matter. Steven will be the 9, which locks up a top 4 pick for Cody. But we'll see how it goes. Steven would have to, it's either first pick or 4th pick for Cody. So that's a big margin. I would have liked, obviously, if I was Cody, I would have liked Jake to win here. Even if it's one more pick. I think the top 3 picks are really interesting this year. And then 4 through 6, a tier bracket there. So getting into the top 3 guaranteed would have been what I wanted if I was Cody. So ouch for Cody. Steven's getting healthy. Maybe an upset in the consolation bracket over Joel. We're going to have to wait and see. But that would be insane if that happens. That's the biggest thing that came out of this matchup. Next matchup is Phil winning against Cody. Cody made the decision to take the hit for the league. It worked out for him. He guaranteed the number 2 seed with Neiman losing this week. So shout out to him. Phil is also a playoff team now too. So it locked down the consolation bracket.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make, is the bottom 4 is sealed up, baby. No one is entering that bottom 4.
Fantastic. See, Steven, Jake, Kyle, and Joel.
Yeah!
Bottom 4. Fantastic season to all 4 you guys. I can't wait to thank you for your service after every loss. It's going to be great. Next matchup, we've got Joel knocking Doug out. Again, we already talked about this. There was a situation, especially with Steven winning.
This was the closest matchup of the week. Hands down.
It was a tie. 0s across the board. So, great effort, boys. That was awesome. Last matchup is Kyle losing to Adam, and of course he did. Not a lot to say about this. We're going to see what happens with Adam, especially after the Greek trade. Is his team going to be more competitive? I don't know. Beating up on Kyle doesn't really show me anything. We will find out with his next opponent, which leads me directly into Week 15. We start with the champs matchup. Let's just get this one out of the way. Going for the first ever undefeated season, regular season. It's just not been done. I know Cody wants to put that asterisk up there, and he can do that. I don't care. I'm more than willing to have an undefeated regular season with an asterisk. It doesn't bother me. It's still an undefeated regular season, and it's something that's not been done before. And I've won 26 in a row. 25 in a row. Sorry, 25. I think I said 26 at the top of the video, too. But it'll be 26 this week. 27, 28, 29 if I get to the championship. Yeah, so...
fuck this guy, is what he's saying.
I have won 25 straight. Joel, is Adam the one?
I don't see it happening. Adam has some nice young pieces, but I don't see him as a top 4 team right now.
Oh, man. Trading away Greek. Might have kicked him out of that top 4. Who knows? We're going to see. Like I said, he's not going to be an easy out for sure. I'm looking forward to the first round and whoever he plays, which we have no idea what's happening right now. We'll get into that. I'm picking myself. I think I'm going to go 15-0. First ever undefeated regular season.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but I don't see a world where you're not winning this unless some horrible injuries happen to you. And even then, it's going to be tough.
Let's hope not. Let's hope Jimmy plays so I can have a full team for once. I haven't had a full team all season. There's always been, big name players on my IR, too. All that being said, though, I did look up total points today for everybody, and I led the league by over 1,000 points. Adam was number 2. That's a whole damn week. Adam would need at least another whole week to catch up at how many points I have. Who knows? Maybe he'll beat me 2,000 to 1,000 this week in points.
Somebody fucking kill me.
Next matchup, huge playoff implications, and we get started here. Now, Cody locked up the number 2 seed, and we're going to do Cody versus Neiman. Neiman's the away team here. But 3 through 5 is undecided. Well, I guess 3 and 4 is undecided. I'll say that. The reason why Matt's going to be pissed off is even if he wins this week against Joel, it wouldn't have mattered. So that big win against Neiman also wouldn't have mattered. He's going to be the 5 seed going into the playoffs. He's on the road immediately and
No home court advantage.
And even if he gets past it, he's got to play me in the second round. And let me tell you, I'll be ready.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, so basically all we need to know about the 3 and 4 spot is Neiman has the tiebreaker over Adam. They played once this year. So if their records remain the same, Neiman is going to be the 3. So him losing also really didn't mean anything unless Adam were to beat me and he were to lose to Cody. You know, that's basically the only way he falls to 4. Tie records get Neiman the 3 and Adam the 4. I don't see Adam beating me, and I think this is a big statement game for Cody. If I was Cody, I would want to go out and demolish Neiman this week. It doesn't matter at all. He's the 2, and like I said, if they both lose, Neiman's the 3, Adam's the 4. So there's not a lot on the line. It's just more gauging yourself against what could be a second-round matchup on that side of the bracket. With everything pretty locked in, if I beat Adam, like I said, nothing really changes based on where we are right now. So, with that said, I'm going to pick Cody. Like I said, I think Cody sets his lineups this week. I know I sure would want to be gauging what I'm doing before my first round playoff, even though, it's a month. I want to learn some shit if I'm Cody.
Yeah, there's not a lot of injury tags right now on Neiman's team, but the most significant injury tag of all is Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And that tag is fucking up. So I'm picking Cody.
Yep.
There's no way without Embiid that he gets this done.
Yeah, and Neiman has to hope that Embiid gets, and that's what I mean. Like, we're looking at a possible second round matchup here in the playoffs. So, I want to see what happens. I think I'm watching that. Of course, I'm watching my matchup. That being said, we get a little bit into the weeds here at 6 through 8. They all 3 have tied records, 6 and 8, and 2 of them play each other. I have Doug at Phil. Now, Doug beat Phil earlier in the season, 11-2. Phil doesn't have Luka still. So, if Doug sets his lineups, I think Doug wins this matchup. I will pick Doug officially.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't see a reason to not, be wizard behind the curtain. I don't see a reason for Doug not to set his lineups.
Again, more gauging information if you're asking me. Like, you see what you're working with.
Yeah, if I'm Doug, you're not in the consolation bracket. You should go for it. Why wouldn't you at this point?
Yeah, the crazy thing to me about Doug was he started tanking at like 5 and 1, I think, after I beat him. And he wound up 6 and 8, and he's still gonna get a 6 seed if he wins here. Likely, like I said. Now, if CJ wins his matchup, which is next against Steven, these are kind of the interlocking things. If Doug and CJ both win, then CJ would get the higher seed than Doug. So Doug would move to the 7 because their divisional records will be the same. CJ and Doug did not play in the regular season, and CJ has 3,500 more points. Interestingly enough, if Doug and CJ both lose, CJ would be the 7, Doug would be the 8. It's not really different because it's 6 versus 7, 7 versus 8, but it's for the exact same thing. So those two are kind of interlocked as far as that goes. Now, the situation with Phil and CJ only played once this year, and Phil beat CJ. So if CJ and Phil's record are tied, Phil will get the 7, or Phil will get the 6, CJ will get the 7, and then Doug gets the 8. So really big implications for Doug versus Phil. Doug, in my opinion, if he's going to set his lineups or not set his lineups, he can pick his first round opponent. Because if he loses, no matter what happens with Steven and CJ, he is below CJ, regardless. So if he thinks CJ is going to win over Steven and he wants to win, that puts him at the 7 instead of the 8. See how that's going to work out? So do you want to play Cody first round, or do you want to play me first round? Go ahead.
The other side of that is, what draft pick do you want? Do you see this as a top 5 draft class, a top 6? Like, if you see it as a hard top 5, or a hard top 5,
Yeah.
then you want that 8 seed.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and again, if Doug and CJ both win, that would put Phil at the 8. So that's just kind of the, little stacking we've got going on there. You just need to know that if it's the same record between Doug and CJ, Doug is the lower seed and CJ will be the higher seed. If it's Phil and CJ, Phil will be the higher seed and CJ will be the lower seed, then Doug at the bottom. So it's really interesting, these two matchups. And I'll say right now, I'm not ruling out that Steven doesn't beat CJ. CJ's down to $5, and I know Steven, and I know CJ, and I know they care about this matchup, if anything, more just for bragging rights. So if Steven sets his lineups, or if they go at each other on the wire, Steven might have a chance to win here and mess everything up. Because if CJ loses, then he's going to have to solely be looking on who wins between Doug and Phil. He actually wants Phil to win, because then he'll move up to the 7 even with a loss. But if Doug wins and then it's Phil and CJ winds up being the 8 in that situation with a loss. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's your hope. So I imagine I'm picking Doug in the first matchup. Is that what you were doing as well, or are you taking Phil?
I'm taking Doug because I assume his priorities are going to change.
Yes, I think so too, and I don't want to play me in the first round. And a win here guarantees that you do not play me in the first round. So I'm taking Doug in that matchup, and I think I'm going to take Steven in the second matchup over CJ, only because not only does it help you get a higher first round pick, it helps me because CJ does not have enough money that I would be worried about losing to him in the 8th versus the 8th. And unfortunately, that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah, I'm also picking Steven. There are a couple injury tags, but nothing crazy on the Steven side. So yeah, I feel pretty okay about that. My bias / hope might be getting in here,
Right.
but I'm picking Steven.
There we go. Next matchup is Matt versus Joel. For both of these teams, this matchup doesn't mean anything. Joel is not going to move any lower if he loses. He's not going to move any... Well, assuming that Kyle loses, which, full disclosure, I have zero idea why Kyle would even remotely set lineups. He guarantees a top 2 pick if he loses this matchup. He would be insane to win, and then you would be the 12, assuming that if you think Kyle's going to win, you just pull all your players. Then you would be the 12. You'd be guaranteed a top 2 pick, regardless of how the consolation bracket goes. But like I said, there's no way if I'm Kyle, I'm winning this matchup at all. It'd be crazy to do that. So with that being the case, Joel, even with a loss, you still have the tiebreaker over Kyle. So you will be the 11, regardless whether you win or lose. Yeah.
So you said there's nothing on the line here. I beg to differ.
Okay.
Matthew wants 10 wins. He wants it real bad. I like to take things away from Matthew. I like that a lot.
I'm just excited. I want to see what your team can do, like actually setting lineups and legitimately.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah, mysterious. Maybe that was Doug's plan the whole season. He just didn't want anybody to know what kind of lines he was putting up, trying to be mystery man or whatever the fuck. But yeah, if Joel wins, doesn't mean anything. If Matt wins, he can't go any higher after all those tiebreakers that we were talking about.
So who are you picking? Because I'm setting my lineups.
I'm still going to take Matt on the road. I think he's going to have enough big man stats to be able to level out his field goal percentage against you. And yeah, I think he's going to win. I think. It'd be really devastating if he doesn't. Let me tell you, I'd feel very bad about going into the playoffs if he doesn't beat you and then has to go in as the 5 seed, knowing that he's going to either play Adam or Neiman. Well, no, likely Adam. And then he'd have to play me in the second round. That is terrifying.
So what you're saying is if he gets beat by a bottom 4 team,
Yeah.
and then has to go play a top 4 team,
Yeah.
it's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. It would make it rough. It would make the crazy part is if you beat him, he would have taken a loss to you, then have to go through a full month playing a top 4 team, and then the following 2 weeks playing likely the best team, at least record-wise, in the league. That is a constant 7 weeks of torture that he is going to have to endure if you win.
I got to ask you,
Okay?
for the record,
Okay.
Steph Curry on Matthew's team now.
Yeah.
Are you afraid? Tell the people.
No.
Oh, no, Matthew! The future might have been given up for nothing.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I just hope for health for all of my players, and we all know that wire game is tight, bro. Tight. Oh, it feels so good. I'm going to get to be on the wire again. I've only added a total of 12 players this whole season. 12 adds the entire season, 1 trade during the season, and this is how it's going to go.
Man,
Crazy town.
unbelievable.
That being said, I also picked Jake for that last matchup against Kyle because, again, I have no idea why Kyle would set rosters. It would blow me away.
It would be interesting. We have seen questionable decisions from Kyle before. He is locked into 2 of the top 3 picks regardless, right?
Well, it depends because in this situation, he has 2 of the top 3. He has Jake's, right?
Yeah, he has Jake's and he has his own.
So, if he wins, him and Jake will have a tied record. And I do not know what happened the first time these 2 played. Kyle could fuck around and, somehow jump not only above you, but jump Jake. And if that happens, Kyle's picks could theoretically become the 3-4 instead of the 2-4, 2-3. He would give up a top 2 pick if he wins this, regardless of what the tiebreakers are, because they would be right together, and likely you'd be the 12 if Matt ends up winning. So it literally, I cannot stress this enough, would blow me away if Kyle tries to win this week. Rivalry be damned, okay?
Kyle, I think you should go for it.
Wild. Just a wild season.
We're all out here showing what we can do. This is the week.
Yeah, you're back. Doug's back. Everybody's setting lineups out there this week. Maybe Kyle's the only one not.
Get in the spirit, son.
All right, well, that's it. After this week, we'll know, and then it's playoffs for a month. The whole month of February, because of the All-Star break, we know how it goes. I think there's going to be 17 or 18 actual game days in that month. So plan accordingly, everyone. Anything else from you?
No, nothing for me.
Excellent. We will see you guys next week where we talk playoffs.
Playoffs, baby.
See you guys.